ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Forex Trading Asia Daily Currency Call. This is episode 305, the 4th of June, 11 a.m. here in Singapore, GMT +8. Okay, so this currency call, you will get market economic updates, key support resistance levels, trade ideas, and more. So this currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. We will be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risk. So a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. Okay, so let's start off with Kim Hong. So Kim Hong here, today, currency analyst at LCMS Traders. He will be sharing his views about the NFP news event later tonight. So Kim Hong.
Okay, thank you, Junwei. Wow, happy Friday, everyone. What a last 24 hours we had. Okay, so the market actually moved quite a lot yesterday. Okay, due to the let me just share my screen with you. Okay, due to the release of the strong ADP non-farm employment change. Okay, as you guys know that today is jobs day. Okay, that means jobs report from the United States will be released. And yesterday, the ADP non-farm employment, which is actually a close estimate of what the actual non-farm data will be today. Okay, was released to be like 907. Okay, it means that 978,000 jobs has been added in May. Okay, previously there was only like 654,000 jobs. So the strong increase in the number of jobs actually led to the strengthening of the US dollar. Okay, across the board, which explains why yesterday at 2015 GMT +8, you see like not a one-shot strong move in the US dollar, but a subsequent strengthening of the US dollar for the next few hours. Okay, now, so I'm going to share with you today my views on the NFP report. Okay, so today, Friday, it will be released at 20:30 GMT +8. The non-farm payroll, here it is. Okay, so last month, we see a very disappointed report, okay? I think there was an expectation of 900,000 jobs being added, but it turns out to be 266,000, okay? Which led to a weakening of the US dollar for a short period of time, okay? Now, this time around, the market is forecasting a 650,000 jobs increase. If you ask me if the 266 figure is easy to be beaten, I would say yes, okay? Now, I shall provide you with 3 reasons why. Okay, first reason, as I already mentioned, the strong ADP figure released yesterday was actually a strong estimate for the upcoming non-farm payroll data. Okay, no guarantee. All right, there's no like 100% guarantee that if the ADP non-farm employment release is good, then the non-farm payroll will be good as well. Okay, however, it's the closest estimate that we can get. Okay, now that's the first reason. Oh, and also, if we realize that the initial jobs claim data over here, it shows continued decline in the number of people claiming for unemployment benefits. Okay, for this data over here, you want to see a smaller figure. Okay, the smaller the better. Why is that the case? Because it reflects the number of people who are jobless and are claiming for some benefits from the government. Okay, for their unemployment for the time being. Okay, so the lower the figure, the better it is. So we also see a decline in the figure. So this is the first reason. Now, the second reason, okay, both the IHS Markit and the ISM, also known as the Institute of Supply Management, are organizations that release the PMI data, okay, for the US. Okay, so in their recent report, which is for the month of May, both organizations actually reported a jobs growth in the services sector will remain strong, okay? While manufacturing sector is still affected by the supply shortages, which led to a slight decline in the number of in jobs growth, okay? So we have a strong jobs growth in the services sector versus a weaker jobs growth in the manufacturing sector. Now, bear in mind that the US GDP is contributed more by the services sector as compared to the manufacturing sector. Okay, if my memory serves me right, the services sector actually contributes to more than 70% of the US GDP. Okay, now what does this mean? This means that a slight decline in the jobs growth in the manufacturing sector is going to have a less impact than the services sector. Okay, which actually created quite a number of jobs in the previous month. Okay, so this being the second reason that we may be seeing a stronger non-farm payroll data this time around. Okay, now the third reason that we may be seeing a strong jobs report is the fourth round of stimulus check. Now, the recent round of stimulus check, the third round, okay, is the one that the U.S. government gives out $1,400 to the unemployed, right? Now, when will the fourth round of stimulus check be out? Nobody knows. Okay, it is still in negotiation. The government officials are still discussing if they should be. You see, the thing is, if they should be giving out the fourth round of check. Why is that the case? Because in the previous, I would say in April, when they issue out the third round of stimulus check, there are actually people who say that, there are analysts who says that the third round of stimulus check actually encourages people to stay at home. Okay, why should I go look for a job when I can actually get free money from the government, right? And most importantly, to some of the people, the amount of money given by the government actually exceeds their previous paycheck. So why should I, put in so much effort just to get something, right? So that's the speculation that some of the people have, analysts and markets have, in explanation to why we see a very disappointed jobs report in previous month. Okay, now, so with this fourth round of stimulus check being uncertain, not sure if there's going to be one coming up, okay, this may actually motivate people to go back to the workforce. All right, so it's a gamble that they have to take, right? So they may actually join the workforce sooner than expected. So these three reasons are the reasons why that I think the jobs report to be released tonight will be strong. Okay. Now, for traders out there who will be trading this whole non-farm payroll. Now, take note that because yesterday there was a strong increase in the US dollar. Okay, chances are, no guarantee as usual, all right? Chances are the strength in the US dollar may have already been factored in, okay? It may have already been, market has already moved prior to the strong jobs report. Now, however, okay, this is a bit of a contrarian view kind of thing, all right? However, if we were to see a weaker than, okay, right, previously there was a 266,000 increase in jobs, all right? If right now tonight, if we were to see something that's weaker than 266,000 of jobs increase in May, then we may actually be seeing a strong weakening in the US dollar. Why is that the case? As I already said, the market has factored in a strong jobs report, right? So if tonight a strong jobs report were to appear, then there's no big deal. Okay, we already priced in the move yesterday. Okay, now if the jobs report were to turn out very bad, then it's like a complete reverse of of what the market actually thought the jobs report will be. Okay, so If the results actually turn out better than expected, I would say just be a bit cautious, okay? Because the further strengthening of the US dollar may not be very lasting, okay? Now, when you talk about jobs report on the first Friday of the month, okay, we normally will see the Canadian data as well, okay? The Canadian jobs report will be released at the same time, okay? So dollar CAD may not be a very wise pair to be traded, okay? Why is that the case? Because we have two countries releasing their reports. So one may be good, or both may be good, both may be bad, okay? If we have one good and one bad, then the direction is clear. However, if we have both good and both bad, or both bad, then, you know, it's who's stronger, who's weaker. You don't want to figure this out, you know, at like 2030 GMT plus 8 when, you know, market is moving like volatility and things like that, right? So, okay, the Canadian jobs report, okay, they are actually forecasting it to be a continued decline in the number of jobs in May, okay? Why is that the case? Keep in mind that the Ontario province in Canada, okay, is still under lockdown. So that will definitely have an impact, a negative impact on the number of jobs being added, okay? But in this case, it's not going to be adding. It's going to be like a decline in the number of jobs. So just pay attention to that, okay? So if you guys are trading the non-farm payroll or the Canadian jobs data tonight, just, you know, there are so many other pairs to take up for, okay? You can take up with euro dollar or euro CAD and things like that. Just try to avoid dollar CAD for now, okay? And with that, may the bulls and bears be with you guys, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Back to you, Jin Wei.
Hey, wait, Kim Hong, wait.
We have a question?
Jin Dao here. It's a question for you.
All right.
Do you think it will be a buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of scenario for this?
Buy the what?
Buy the rumor,
okay,
sell the fact.
Okay.
Or Jin, you want to elaborate your question? Look at the chat.
For this non-farm payroll, do you think it will be a buy the rumor, sell the fact? You know, buy the rumor that we're going to see the stronger US dollar since it's been climbing, and then sell the fact when the non-farm payroll gets released, and then we expect the US dollar to drop.
When the non-farm payroll gets released and the US dollar to drop. Personally, I feel that it's unlikely the case, okay? It's more going to be like the case whereby if a stronger jobs report were to be released, then, you know, the strengthening of the dollar may be kept meaning maybe, you know, maybe short-lived and that kind of thing, okay? It may be short-lived and the strengthening may not be that vigorous as compared to last night, okay? Why is that the case? Because remember, if you were to, what was that again? Buy the rumor, sell the fact, right? Okay. This jobs report will actually lead to the FOMC's view on whether, you know, they should actually bring up the QE tapering discussion, okay? So it actually has a strong impact on that. So if the result turns out to be good, okay, it may not be a sell the rumor kind of thing because, because, you know, it has the story doesn't end there. That's what I'm trying to say. The story doesn't end there. A strong NFP report, because a strong NFP report will lead to, you know, the upcoming FOMC meeting on their decision. So normally I would say, you know, the selling of the rumor thing will actually take place when it's like a, you know, when the story ends there, when there's a strong non-farm payroll report for this month. That's it. You know, it's not going to affect the Fed's decision in their upcoming meeting, the kind of things. But in this case, because there is a link, there's a direct link to the next meeting, the decision that they'll make in the next meeting, it's unlikely going to be like the buy the fact, sell the rumor kind of scenario.
Okay, thanks for that, Kim Hong. So in short, the key takeaway here, if I'm not wrong, will be if it's a good number today, don't be too eager to buy.
Yes.
Look into
but short-term buy, I would say.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Okay, thanks for that, Kim Hong. Now we will get Scott here. Kim Hong, if you don't mind, can you unshare? Okay, great. Okay. Okay, yeah, we'll get Scott here. Scott here from Forex Briefcase Australia to share with us on the dollar index, looking at the charts.
All right. Hi, guys, and happy Friday. Thanks, Gim Hong, for that. Really, it was an in-depth assessment of what's going on with the upcoming news. And, we did really see a significant move higher as well. There are a few discussions in the EchoFin chat as well, just about how to play this potentially. And it was really nice to see the US dollar wake up a little bit, you could say, really. And there were particular numbers in regards to what was expected, and it was a lot higher. So now, we've seen, if you have a look, on the daily time frame, that's a really significantly large candle compared to recent moves. I mean, we saw something like that back in earlier last month. It's already June. So we're seeing a test here of the 90.5 level. And again, a significant move like this is something to watch with now. We're going to have a lot of individuals thinking, where is this going to start turning over again, and what's particularly priced in. And if somehow numbers miss slightly on NFP, we're going to see, what you'd imagine would be, maybe a spike higher, but really it's an interesting point now. So there's still a lot to come out, later down the track for a longer term confirmation of a bit of an uptrend. But right now we're busted out of a bit of a range. So, really from a trade idea standpoint, if we go down to the hourly and we've seen it test again, we might see it, I'd imagine, with what we've seen with recent news that's come out, we might see it just go over this level. And then we've got 90.80 I've got here is another area of minor resistance. So that's still 30 pips though. So it's just a matter of being very quick on an entry and then leaving some breathing room in regards to a stop loss, maybe a stop loss down at 90.30 if you get it at 90.60. But then obviously the risk to reward is not good. So I would say it's best, like was mentioned, and like Gim Hong and Jin's mentioned with the USD CAD, it's probably best to utilize a pair that is really bottomed out and it's just looking for a lift high. So again, stay tuned for tonight with what could again push the US dollar a bit higher, and I would say that's probably what we'll see, but again, shorter term. So more of an in and out type trade for tonight is what I'm thinking.
Okay, thanks for that, Scott. We'll get you back in later for the cryptocurrencies. But for now, currency focus today will be Canadian dollar, and we have Jin here, Jin Dao Tai, founder of LCMS Traders, multi-million-dollar trader trading an account with more than $14 million on a daily basis. All right, Jin, I'll pass it to you for the Canadian dollar analysis.
Thank you, Chin Wei. And just a little bit of a correction, we've just hit 15 million. So 15 now. Okay, so back to the focus, US CAD on a non-farm payroll Friday. What could happen? Just want to show you, just because I'm super happy about it. We spoke about the US CAD here last Friday, and I was saying that we're going to see it sit across before dipping lower, and then we might see that dollar strength and also the CAD weakness pushing it back up towards the 1.2148 resistance level and possibly beyond. We saw that happen exactly. So, none of these lines were doctored. This was drawn last week, and I'm super happy that it's moved as per the lines. So what could happen today, or rather later tonight, in the non-farm payroll news event? Here, looking at the Forex Trading Asia economic calendar, on Friday, where is it? On Friday, today, looking at the non-farm payrolls. I'm not going to go into the details. Gim Hong has already done that to a fantastic job. Non-farm payroll numbers was 226, expected 650. At this point, my view is that we're probably going to see a bit less than forecast, but definitely more than previous. Or in the better scenario, we're going to see it maybe at about an 800 number. In the best case scenario, at about 800. But my focus is not so much on the non-farm payrolls number, neither is it going to be on the unemployment rate, possibly going from 6.1 to a 5.9%. My focus for this Friday is actually, or this event is actually going to shift towards the average hourly earnings. It was a 0.7% when we had a bad non-farm payroll number last month. This month expected a 0.2%. Looks like we're going to see a drop, maybe a 0.1% even for the average hourly earnings in terms of the people being employed. So it sounds like more people might be working, but they might be getting paid less than previous or less than the growth they expect. With that in mind, this might be the one news that brings that cap to that US dollar strength and possibly even bring some downside towards the US dollar. So pay attention not just to the non-farm payroll number. That's what a lot of people would get too focused on, just a number there. Look at the unemployment rate as well, and also the average hourly earnings. But as we look into the US CAD, it's not just about the US dollar here. You know, Kim Hong has said that already. He's stealing on my words this today, right? Not the employment change numbers coming from the CAD was minus 207, expected a minus 20K. At this point, you know, again, I'm going to contradict him a little bit just because I have to. It might actually be a relatively good view. Even if it does come out at a minus 20 or even a minus 30, still relatively good from previous, which might actually bring a little bit of strength to the CAD. A little bit of strength to the CAD. Think about it that way, right? With the unemployment rate looking like it might go to an 8.2, if it does stay at 8.1, we might again see some strength, a little bit of strength to the US CAD or to the Canadian dollar. With that in mind, you know, think about a possibility for a Canada. Some parts of Canada have been on a lockdown, but despite that, we might actually see some improvements in the employment numbers. And also, I would put your mind towards, let me just scroll up. I'll put your mind towards next week as well. Okay, so as you're entering trades tonight, if you can get off a trade tonight, fantastic. If not, if you're looking into trades next week for the US CAD in particular, where is it? As I scroll through on Wednesday night, we have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision, right? Looking to stay at 0.25%. We might think about whether the Bank of Canada is going to adopt a little bit of a view of commenting about possible rate hikes. Unlikely, but that view might come in. You know, with that in mind, again, the Bank of Canada interest rate decision holding at 0.25%. Pay attention to the statement. See whether they're going to be a little bit more confident about the economy from this point onwards. And while I'm looking into next week, bear in mind on Thursday next week, we have major ECB rate decision and also the press conference happening next week as well. So that aside, back to the US CAD, what could happen in my view here, we've already done the first hard part from last week. At this point, this 1.2148 level is going to be very, very interesting. If we're going to see the US non-farm payroll number come out relatively strong, right, with average hourly earnings beating their previous estimate of the estimate of 0.2%, then we might actually see that US CAD go upwards. We're sitting right at this 1.2148 level. If you see it break above 1.2160, you could be looking at a 30 pip stop loss for a good 120 112, 110, 120 pip take profit level. Again, at a 30 pip stop loss for 120 pip take profit, that's a 1:4 risk reward ratio. Very good upside potential for the US CAD. But as much as it's a very good upside potential for the US CAD, bear in mind, look at this. It's been dropping since way back in April. Since the end of April, it's been in that downward trajectory, sitting in that consolidation for the past 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks for this whole month already. If it does break above, yes, great upside potential in this scenario. But bear in mind, we saw it happen last week. It's hit that resistance, turned back down. We saw it happen 2 weeks ago, hit that resistance, turned back down. 3 weeks ago, tried to break up and turn back down again. So this is also one of the reasons why I think we might have some US dollar weakness come back into play. We might have some CAD strength come back into play. This resistance level here gives us that opportunity to also plan for that downside back into that range. So you could have a hit that resistance reject at about 1.2120. You would have a 40 pip stop loss for a good 80 pip, 120 pip take profit level, or 100 pip take profit level towards a downside. Within that range, you have a 1:2 risk reward ratio back toward the downside. So with that in mind, you have both the upside potential and the downside potential for the US CAD. It all comes down to what could happen on non-farm payroll for the US dollar and employment numbers for the Canadian. I would suggest do nothing at this point until you get to the news release, until you get to the actual data being released, before making that decision. Trade what you see, not what you think when there's a news involved.
Okay, thanks for that, Jane. Seems like tonight is not as straightforward as it would be. Okay, so yeah, it's Friday now and it's cryptocurrencies day also. So I'm going to get Scott here to do a cryptocurrency analysis for us. Scott.
All right, everyone. So just to start with, we've got BTC against the US dollar here. So I was just scrolling through just then on Elon Musk's Twitter as well. Nothing really significant. He did post 2 hours ago, Bitcoin, and then the breaking of a love heart. So that, I mean, that's interesting. Now I find obviously with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, the fundamentals are very disjointed, and I think really what it gives a lot of credibility to is the ability to trade it from a technical standpoint only. So what I've got here, I've got a trend line that, Bitcoin has respected recently. This is just a 1 hour time frame. So where it's currently trading at, we have seen a little bit of a sell-off, and that's obviously attributed to what's happened with the US dollar strength as well we've seen recently. Now, let's go to the 4 hour time frame just to give a little bit more context as to how far we are to. I've got around 41,500 is a point on the chart which we've seen some rejections recently. We've obviously got the bottom that was hit last month on the 19th of May. That was 29,000, just under 30,000. So we've got a little bit of room here to the upside. We've got obviously 38,000. So what I'd really like to see is how the price action reacts to this trend line. If it doesn't hit it, it's frustrating that I probably would leave it. We are seeing a little bit of strength now, but this time of day with the US dollar just doing what it's doing, it's a bit lacking clarity. So an aggressive trade would be to get in now, but I wouldn't be doing that. And then I just want to see how the US dollar reacts to the upcoming news as well. Just because typically you'll have an event where the news is out, you're going to have movements down and up quite rapidly. So if you've got stops in place, it can be very frustrating where you'll get stopped out and the trade really becomes a losing position. So leave it be to settle, and then we'll just have to see. Again, it's a little bit dependent on what I'm seeing on Twitter a lot is, which is an interesting way to gauge cryptocurrency, but there's a lot of Dogecoin focus. So, you know, you could just see the Bitcoin float around a little bit, but you'll find it will probably gravitate back to 40, but that journey back to 40 is going to be difficult if you're someone that wants to just be in and out quickly. So I think I want to wait to see how price reacts to that trend line for now. And what we'll do here is go to Ethereum. So this is actually closer to a resistance level. So it's around just over 2,800, 2,868. So we've got around 100 pips or so, just over 100 pips to see if we can get back there. And again, I've got a trend line in place here too, but we do have a little bit of room above that where we're trading at. So that's around, I'll just put this in here. So a trend line retest would be around 2,600. I'll just get that reset here, just below 2,585 or so. So my thought process would be, let's see it base around here and then a retest of this level up here at 2,868. So currently, it is in an uptrend, as you can see on the hourly, even on the 4 hourly. So there is definitely an uptrend that's taken place when things sold off earlier in May. So back to the 1 hour time frame, it's just really challenging to formulate a plan when it's mulling around here. And I just want to see it get back up to 2,868 before we say rejection happens with US dollar strength. And ideally with 7 more hours or so to the news release, or more than that, 9 hours. So that gives us a bit of time to see it get back up here potentially, and then either a buy trade with a breakout if the US dollar sees a bit of a snap reaction and a pullback, or we'll see a sell-off from this level if we see the US dollar strengthen or just hold up with some good news. So those are my thoughts on Ethereum and Bitcoin.
All right, thank you, Scott, for that. Okay, so we have come to the end of the session. Just pasted some links in the chat. So if you guys are in our free Telegram channel, the Signals channel, it will be a good time. I mean, it is a good week that is ending with more than, I think, 4 or 5 trades hitting target profit 3. So if you're not in the Telegram channel yet, make sure you join using that link to get the free signals. And if you want to learn the analysis behind the signals, get the faster signals, I think in the Telegram channel, they push it out 5 minutes later. So if you want the faster signals, make sure you join the tradersclub.lcms.com.sg. And if you're looking to diversify your own investment, or you want to quit trading already, check out forexbriefcase.com. It's a managed account service where it's achieved 3% a month on average based on track record. Yeah, so with that, we have come to the end of the session today. We'll see you guys on Monday for the Aussie TV. Thank you. Goodbye.